Good morning, Tashi Delay.
Good morning. Thank you, Ganamjala, for making the time for this discussion to help us understand more fully about taking the Bodhisattva vows. Shall we just dive right in?
Well, I thought maybe we'll start with refuge
All right.
and setting the motivation for what we're about to do. Sangye Charan, Sangye Charan, La Janja Badu Dani Gyaptachi, Dagi Jenzaki Besonaki, Drola Panja Sangye Drapa Shog. Sangye Charan, Sangye Charan, La Janja Badu Dani Gyaptachi, Dagi Jenzaki Besonaki, Drola Panja Sangye Drapa Shog. Sangye Charan, Sangye Charan, La Janja Badu Dani Gyaptachi, Dagi Jenzaki Besonaki, Drola Panja Sangye Drapa Shog. With the motivation of bodhicitta, we must liberate all sentient beings from their suffering as quickly as possible. I will do it by myself alone. There are countless sentient beings. I'm alone. But if I become Buddha, then I have the power and the ability to liberate those countless sentient beings that I have karmic connection with. Okay, let's dive in, Lillian.
Okay, thank you. So I was thinking about it. There's a saying about how we travel, that we can take a bicycle or we could take a
Mm.
Ferrari, or maybe it's a bicycle or a jet plane. Can
Mm.
can this idea be applied to taking the vows?
I'm wondering if you don't take the vows at all, are you actually moving in a positive direction, or are you even going backwards or standing still? So, not taking refuge, not taking bodhisattva vows or tantric vows, whichever vows you're considering, perhaps not taking anything is, I'm trying to think of what I want to say, is like being stuck in samsara. So you're taking refuge in samsara and the pleasures and happinesses of samsara, and through that, creating more and more non-virtue, and maybe even going backwards rather than going forwards. So then you can ask the question, how do you want to go forwards? So from that position of being stuck, then anything seems difficult because you've got to pull your feet out of the mud of samsara and start to move in the positive direction that you've decided. I mean, you have to receive inspiration from somewhere, right? You go to a monastery and you see the statues, or you're on the internet and you see some statues on an altar, or you hear a teaching, and it triggers that virtuous karma. And then you think, I want to start moving in the positive direction. So if you take refuge, that means you become Buddhist. You can apply the label Buddhist. If you haven't taken refuge, then you can't say you're Buddhist. You actually have to formally take refuge for that. When you take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, you're declaring yourself. You're saying, I want to move in that positive direction. I really value and appreciate and respect what Buddha did. And I think in the beginning, we only know a tiny bit of what he did. But even that's inspiring, because in relation to samsara, then it seems so incredible in the face of adversity to have that positive mind and to use adversity in a positive way. So Buddha, Dharma, what he taught, the 84,000 teachings, all of those can be applied by us. But we need help. You can't just read a book and know how to apply it. Then we need to have help to apply it. So Sangha is all the beings around you in Buddhism. There's ordinary beings and there's Arya beings, so higher level beings, and then ordinary beings on the same sort of level as you, but doing their best to become enlightened. They support you. So the analogy is the doctors and the nurses in the hospital. You need the diagnosis so you can get better quickly. So that's the higher level beings help you with the diagnosis. Then the nurses, those around you, they support you and they're holding you and they're lifting you and saying, you can do it, because I started out the same way as you started out, and it was difficult for me, but now I've improved, I'm able to do blah, 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 So in their own way, they become also like a mini teacher. They're helping you to move in a positive direction. So that would be like a bicycle. You're now moving. You're not with your feet in the mud. You're moving forward, but it's slow. You're going to get there eventually. If you're going from Australia to, I don't know, Finland, you get there eventually, maybe, but it's very slow. The tires may break and,